Everything should have ended at the fire, but it didn't. Rumi didn't move. She didn't attack. She didn't even try. She just looked at Zoe, and everything changed. The fire died, not slowly, instantly, like it never existed. The jungle went silent. Even the air felt wrong. Zoe noticed it first, because this wasn't her control anymore. "This island listens to me." That's what she said. But Rumi didn't argue. She proved it. The ground started moving, not like before, not alive, unstable, like reality itself didn't know what it was supposed to be. Mira stepped back, because nothing about this felt safe anymore. And then Zoe reacted. She raised her hand, and the island answered. Roots exploded out of the ground. Vines twisted through the air. The jungle came alive. And this time, it wasn't just for show. It was trying to stop Rumi. But something strange happened. The roots reached her and stopped, right in front of her, like they hit something invisible. Rumi didn't even move. Not anymore. That's when Zoe realized this wasn't a fight she understood. But Mira didn't care about that, because now everything was attacking. The ground, the trees, the entire island. Okay, this is bad. And that's when Jinu moved. Fast. He stepped in front of Mira, blocked the roots, didn't hesitate. Even like this, even as a zombie, he protected her. Yeah, still weird, but there was no time to think about it, because the entire clearing started collapsing. Reality began to split, not break, split. Half jungle, half something else. A city, lights, buildings, reflections, all inside the jungle. Mira looked at it and didn't even try to understand. Is that the city? But the answer didn't matter, because things were getting worse, way worse. Zoe lost control. Rumi was changing everything, and the island was breaking. That's when Mira made the only smart decision in this entire story. Run! And this time, everyone agreed. They ran into the jungle, not away from danger, straight into more of it. The ground shifted under their feet. Roots chased them. Branches closed behind them. The island didn't want them to leave. Why is everything alive? Island angry. Yeah, that explains everything. They didn't stop. They couldn't, because stopping meant getting caught, and getting caught meant going back to the fire. And that wasn't happening again. Then suddenly, the jungle opened, and they heard it. Water. Loud. Powerful. A waterfall. Mira ran straight toward it. Didn't think. Didn't hesitate. Because, honestly, anything was better than the jungle. They reached the edge, and yeah, it was high. Very high. Okay, now what? Jump. Of course, that was his answer. Do you have any other ideas? Nope. And behind them, the jungle was coming again. Faster this time. That was enough. Okay, we're jumping. And she did. Straight down. No plan. No control. Just falling. Jinu followed, like always. And then, impact. Cold water. Dark. Deep. For a second, everything went quiet. No jungle. No fire. No chaos. Just water. Mira tried to move, tried to understand where she was, and then she saw it. A cave behind the waterfall. Of course there was a cave, because why wouldn't there be? She swam toward it. Jinu followed, and when they reached the surface, everything changed again. This wasn't the island anymore. This was something older, something hidden, something that should not exist. And in the center of it, there was something glowing. Okay, that's definitely important. And somehow, even after everything, she still moved toward it. Big mistake.
Everything was falling apart. The cave, the island, the world itself. And it all started with that artifact. At first, it didn't look dangerous. Just something ancient, something powerful, something that clearly should not be touched. But of course, Mira touched it. And the moment she did, everything changed. The air became heavy. The light shifted, and the entire cave began to react. The artifact wasn't just an object, it was alive. It pulsed with energy, growing stronger, brighter, more unstable. Zombie Genu didn't hesitate. He moved instantly, pulled Mira back before it got worse, because deep down, something inside him still knew how to protect her. But it was already too late. The energy kept building. The cave started to break. Cracks spread across the ground. Stones began to fall. And then something even worse happened. Reality itself opened, a tear in space. Dark, unstable, and familiar. Rumi stepped out of it like she had been there the whole time. Calm, controlled, and completely unfazed. She didn't look surprised. She didn't look worried. She looked like she expected this. Mira turned to her immediately, half relief, half fear, because at this point, she didn't know if Rumi was here to help or make things worse. Rumi didn't answer. She just looked at the artifact, like nothing else mattered.
That doesn't belong here.
That doesn't belong here. That's all she said, and then she started walking toward it. Mira stepped in front of her, instinctively. Wait, we just found it. But Rumi didn't stop. Exactly. That was the problem. The artifact reacted to both of them. The energy changed, shifted, became even more unstable. It wasn't choosing one of them, it was reacting to both, and that made everything worse. The ground cracked deeper. The cave started collapsing faster. The air filled with dust and light. Zombie Genu grabbed Mira again, pulled her back, away from the center, because this time there was no controlling it. But Rumi didn't move away. She stepped closer, into the chaos, into the energy, like it couldn't hurt her, like she was part of it. This is what it was made for. And then everything exploded. Light swallowed the entire cave. No sound, no movement, just white. And then movement again, but not normal movement. They weren't falling, they weren't flying. They were being pulled through something. Fragments of reality flashed around them. The jungle, the cave, the city, all mixed together. Mira couldn't understand anything. What is happening? But Zombie Genu answered like it was simple. Transition. Of course. And then they landed. Hard. But not back on the island. This place was different. The ground felt wrong. The air felt wrong. The entire world felt unstable. City lights flickered in the distance, but jungle vines grew across the buildings. Nature and something else merged together. This is not the island. No, it wasn't. And then Rumi appeared again, behind them, like she had never disappeared. Level 2, that's what she called it. Mira turned slowly, trying to process everything. Level 2? What does that even mean? But Rumi just walked forward, calm as always. It means this world listens better. And right after she said that, the ground moved. Not like before, worse. Like it was alive, like it was watching them. And then Mira saw them, shapes moving in the distance. Not human, not animals, something in between. We're not alone. They stepped closer, out of the mist, glitching, breaking, reforming, like they didn't belong in one shape. Zombie Genu moved instantly, stepped in front of Mira, ready, always ready. One of the creatures lunged, too fast, too unnatural, but Genu stopped it, blocked it completely, like it couldn't pass him. Blocked. Of course he would say it like that, but there were more, a lot more. They were everywhere now, surrounding them, closing in. Mira looked around, panic building again. Okay, that's a lot of them. But Rumi, she didn't move. She just raised her hand, and the creature in front of them stopped, froze, and then broke apart, like it never was real. They don't belong either. That's when it became clear. This world wasn't stable. Nothing here was. And the more they stayed, the worse it would get. The creatures kept coming, more and more, endless. Mira looked at Rumi again. So, what now? And Rumi smiled, just slightly. The kind of smile that means this is only the beginning. Now, she said quietly,